Well, I'm actually kind of curious
What's going on here?
what's going on here.
Well, you know, I rarely like an arrangement the way it comes. I do like to rearrange. Sometimes when flowers come in like a prepared bouquet, they're like, feel a little stiff. I like to loosen it up, you know? See, like this one, I don't think it wants to be here. This one wants its own vessel.
Looks nice with the scallions, actually.
Yeah, that's so hot right now. Like
Scallions in the bouquet.
like a tomato in the bouquet, and like some people see beautiful art. I see food waste. Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to Home Movies. I'm Alison Roman, and it's tomato season. This is Doron's favorite color of tomato. This is my favorite color of tomato. Oh, this one's, someone call Aweve. Make me a candle. It's actually tomato season right now, and also when this video comes out. This rarely happens. Normally it's like April, we're shooting for June, but it's tomato now and tomato then. So we are gonna make a tomato tart. It's a beautiful crust that tastes like a Cheez-it, which is, I think, the most superior cracker to ever exist, with raw tomatoes, some raw garlic, salt and pepper, roasted in the oven. When the proportions are right and done well, will be perfect every time. It will slice, it will be delicious, it will be transportable, it will be snackable, it will be dinner, it will be lunch, it will be a picnic. So, celebrate. The crust for this tart is a very simple, like mix in a bowl, press it in. It's almost like Play-Doh, you pat it in. I like using a removable tart pan for this. While I don't believe in like specific single-use tools always, there are certain things in my kitchen that just like do the job. I use this for my blueberry cornmeal tart, which a lot of you have been making. This to me is the number 2 reason why you should have this tart pan. So if you were on the fence at all, this is your sign to get one of these. I think having something that you can just like pop out and slice takes a lot of the stress out of baking. So the first thing we're going to do, we are gonna make the crust. So I'm gonna start with 1 cup of all-purpose flour. That's 145 grams. A lot of conversation about that. That's how much my cup weighs. It's just so much more satisfying to use a scale because you're like, I know that what's in here is the same as if you did it. Your cup and my cup, as we've discussed, not always the same. It's tricky. Mistakes can be made. I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of polenta. This crust will taste mostly of polenta and Parmesan. This is like the primary flavor in this crust. It doesn't take much for polenta to like really take over the flavor and texture of a tart. You could use a finer grind here as well. I kind of like this texture. It's coarse. It gets a lot of cracked black pepper. If you think you've done enough, keep going. It's like a peppered Cheez-it, like a cacio e pepe vibe, which classically means cheese and pepper. So it's 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt. I'm using Diamond Crystal Kosher. If you're using a different brand, it might be different. And then 1 teaspoon of regular granulated sugar. 1 teaspoon doesn't seem like a lot of sugar, but you would really miss it if it weren't there. I'm telling you, I promise you. It's sort of like when you bake sweet things and you have salt in your crust then. This is sort of the same principle where like, even though this is savory, you still need a little bit of sugar to kind of like keep things well seasoned. It also helps promote browning in the crust, which is nice aesthetically. And then a cup of finely grated Parmesan cheese. This can take a while because a cup of grated cheese is more than you think. But if you skipped it, you would miss it. If I had to eat one cheese for the rest of my life, it would be Parmesan. 35 grams, wow, not even close. Not even close. Keep going. This is fun though. I'm having fun. It honestly very much annoys me, like, oh, too much, how much emphasis there is on things in the kitchen happening quickly and how much a deterrent it is for people to not make something if they think it's gonna take a while. I get it as a person who gets like hungry now and I wanna eat something, but that's what you like snack for. That's like, oh, I'm gonna like have a little piece of cheese. I'm gonna have some fruit. I'm gonna have a nut. I'm gonna like eat a piece of meat from the fridge, whatever. All right, and then 85 grams, which is 6 tablespoons, 3 ounces of butter that I'm gonna melt. Oh yeah, get in there. I made this tomato tart for my book, Sweet Enough. So when I made this before, I browned the butter by accident because I walked away, I was doing something, I was like texting, I was whatever. And I was like, well, it's probably still good. And it was really good. I didn't write the recipe that way because it did feel like sort of an extra step. But I do want you to know that if you did brown the butter or want to brown the butter, it works in this crust and it's delicious.
It is like that in the recipe, actually.
Great. Did I say to do either?
The recipe calls for brown butter.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I was like, I would never do that. I was like, I wouldn't do that to you. And I would. Wow, I can't believe I did. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Back on. I guess we're browning it. You heard it here first. Wow. I don't even know myself. Not to be like it doesn't matter, but it also doesn't matter. As I just said, you could do either. Doesn't matter. But anytime you are working with brown butter, you do want to make sure that you are scraping up the bottom because that's what you've just worked so hard for. Wow, I can't believe I did that. Does nothing I say matter, you know? All right. So this is our flour, our polenta, our pepper, our salt, our sugar, our cheese. And more so than the cheese, more so than the pepper, more so than the browned butter, which is very important. The most important ingredient in this whole crust recipe is water because this crust needs it. Pie crust needs it, tart crust need it, so why wouldn't this crust need it? So water, 2 tablespoons, butter. And this will just like kind of shrink down and become like, it'll look like Play-Doh. I wanted to make this video because people make this tart a lot in the summer. And it's like now become a ritual for people. They're like, well, I make it. It's like first tomato tart of the season. And I need more people to make it, honestly, because it's really good. I'm still mad at myself about this brown butter thing. It does taste really good with brown butter. Like I'm tasting it now and I'm like, that's good.
But that's in the recipe.
I know, but mere moments ago, I was like, brown the butter if you want, but I won't make you do that. That's an extra step. Just melt it. And now I'm tasting it and I'm thinking to myself, if you're not browning the butter, you're missing out on something really special. But if you don't want to brown it, it will be good with melted butter. How could I ever be so naive? If I were doing a sweet tart, a savory tart, a cornmeal tart, tomato tart, I sort of do it the same by like imagining what a thin, even layer would look like and then going around the edge and being like, what would make an edge? For me, it's most important to make sure that your edges are reinforced and strong because that's what's gonna hold in your tart. And when you slice it, that's what you want to like serve as sort of fortress for the juices. I always prioritize the thickness of the edges because a thick edge will taste delicious and crunchy. A thick bottom will be like doughy and tough to cut through. So I'm just using my thumb to just kind of like cut the dough off at the top. The nice thing about this dough, in addition to most like press-in crusts, is that it's very difficult to overmix. Like you could kind of fondle this tart for a long time without risk of it like becoming weird. Which you can't say that about a lot of things. That rooster is really trying my patience today. Can you hear it?
A little bit.
Okay. I am gonna take a fork just to like prick. This does 2 things. This helps air escape. If you did not do this, what could end up happening, the air would have nowhere to go, so the whole thing would sort of souffle, which is not what you want. But it also helps things bake more evenly because it helps air circulate, heat circulate, so the whole thing gets browned and cooked through at the same time. So this is gonna go in a 375 oven that's non-convection for 20 to 25 minutes. If you are using a convection or a fan, for my friends across the pond, that's gonna be closer to like 18 to 20 minutes with a fan. I'm gonna set a timer and we'll check back in. Oh, Duran. Tables have turned. I don't know how to use this.
Well, it's on.
Oh, it's on?
You can use it. Yeah.
Wow, I was recording this whole time?
Well.
Busted. You look like an angel with that light behind you.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Summer camp for the boys.
The address here is 5.
Yeah, we're gonna bleep that out, Jane.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Okay, it has been 20-ish minutes, and my tart is deeply brown. This is a strong and good oven, and so I will say that it does outperform other ovens I have baked with. Things tend to bake a little quicker. It's golden brown. The juices of the tomato will soak into this crust, which is part of the beauty of this recipe, is that it sort of like softens what is otherwise like crunchy. I'm gonna put it on a tray, because when it's full of tomatoes, it's just like easy. I should have done this earlier, but I didn't. So I'm gonna let this cool just for a second while I slice my tomatoes. So the tomatoes for this can be kind of any tomatoes. You can use really beautiful tiny tomatoes, you could use bigger tomatoes, juicy tomatoes. This is even good with kind of bad tomatoes. The roasting of them in the oven, the sliced garlic, the capers, which are optional, chili flakes, salt, pepper, whatever, kind of make the tomatoes better than they were if you were just like eating them on their own. So, you know, not to say that like, buy a shitty tomato, but if you come home from the market and you're like, oh, these tomatoes are not what I thought they would be, this is still a great recipe for which to use those tomatoes. I do like to, I know, it's so annoying. Sorry in advance for anyone who's like, there's a fly. What are you gonna do? It's the summertime, there's a fly. There's actually 2 flies. I hate them, I hate them. This is a time where you wanna use like a mixture of color and size of tomato. So get creative. You only need about 2 pounds of tomatoes. I'm just using a knife here. You could use a mandolin if you want. You don't need to go like Goodfellas thin here, but you don't want to be biting into like an obvious massive hunk of garlic. It's pretty thin. It's nicely thin. I'm gonna slice these tomatoes, no rhyme or reason. This is sort of like choose your own adventure. Okay, so you don't want to slice these too thick. You kind of want them to be thinner to give you more surface area to cover. And sometimes if you have like a heel and you're like, oh, it's thick, I can't cut it, well, then eat it. I'm gonna sample every tomato. A lot of people like to use a serrated knife for their tomatoes. That's cool too. Wow, A- all around. Which is a high score, by the way, for me. I am gonna start with the bigger ones on the bottom and then work my way, like patchwork them in a little bit, which is why it's helpful to have different sizes. You're just kind of salting and peppering each layer, as well as some garlic. We'll do a little red pepper flake, why not? It will look full at first, but remember that these are gonna shrink down as they bake. Ending with garlic is nice too, because the garlic will get a little brown. These are optional, these capers, but it's like a nice little salty hit. Shockingly, very few people have asked me, can you add anchovies to this? My answer will surprise you. You can do anything you want. I wouldn't. I think that if you're gonna put anchovy on a pizza, it needs to be put on after the pizza has come out of the oven. I said what I said. Beautiful, this looks so nice. Some olive oil over top. And then we're gonna put this back in our 375-degree oven for 50 to 60 minutes. Now it's time to play Find the Sausage. What a fun game. Is the sausage in this bag? Celery, not sausage. Herbs. This is personal. Kale. Oh, found the sausage. All right. I bought some sausage at the farmer's market this morning, and it was frozen when I bought it. A few hours later, it's kind of mostly defrosted, but I'm just running it over some cold water to finish defrosting. If you start cooking meat before it's fully defrosted, it will sort of cook really unevenly. Like the outside will get really brown unless you do it like in the oven really low and slow, but like who wants to cook sausage that way? I just think it's better to have your meat fully defrosted before you cook it. I have tried to skirt the issue. I've really tried to push it. I'm like, well, it's a little frozen, it's fine. It's almost never fine. I'm always disappointed with how my meat or sausage cooks when I don't let it fully defrost. So you can do what you want. I'm just telling you from personal experience, I wouldn't. Oh wow, look at it go. Have you ever?
Whoa. I like the way it's expanding.
Yeah. Wow. Welcome back. It's been 50 to 55 minutes and our tart is browned. It's beautiful, it's bubbling, it's juicy. The capers on top have gotten really nice and crispy. The garlic is golden brown. Some of those tomatoes up top have gotten nicely browned. This is, I think, exactly what you want this tart to be at this moment in time. This is something that I would definitely want to serve closer to room temperature / warm. I'm just gonna set it aside and let it kind of cool down. These juices are gonna, again, settle into the crust. They're gonna kind of redistribute. They're gonna like plump up the tomatoes again. It's gonna like settle. Meanwhile, I had some tomato juices from the tomatoes that I cut and some leftover capers for a salad. I'm gonna add a little vinegar. If you don't have leftover tomato juices and a handful of capers, you can use vinegar and lemon. I do kind of like cooking this way, where like you cook with some ingredients in one dish and then like prepare it a completely different way. Ingredients go into another dish. This is how I actually cook versus what I think can make a good recipe for you to make at home. That's kind of why I like home movies, because I can cook this way and show you. It's a really good salad though. You should make it. One thing that is also nice to do, spooning a little bit of vinegar over the top to kind of like season the tomatoes. Cute. The bottom of the crust is tender enough to cut through with a fork, firm enough to hold up when you transfer it. There's something about like a tomato that has like had a chance to like sit with salt and garlic and like warm through for almost an hour. It just tastes more of itself. This is like a totally specific, unique experience. I love this tart. What can I say? Eat it with sausage, eat it with a salad, eat it on its own. Happy tomato season. And that's our tomato tart.